Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to Ask to My Aunts.
where we challenge you to stop playing and start pushing.
This right here is my lovely wife, Aiyana.
And this right here is my very handsome husband, Ayize.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
I love you, boo.
I love you too.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Today we coming to you all to talk about something that is significant, and I don't think that we do enough in our relationships. And what I want to speak about is the fact that I think that it's important. Actually, I know that it's important that we be intentional when it comes to identifying and then also being willing to be vulnerable to share what our limitations are personally and how they impact the relationship. The reason why I lift this up is because, as I mentioned before, my wife, she's mentioned before, but we oftentimes walk around in a relationship just really guarded and not really willing to let our guards down and really show who we are because we think that we have to have a certain facade, especially if you're newly in a relationship. You walk around with this mask on. And in doing that, sometimes we're in this honeymoon phase and we put our best representative out in the front. And our partner really likes that. They really dig that. But as the relationship matures, things change and you begin to reveal who you actually are.
Or you keep trying to fake.
Or you keep trying to fake. Yeah, yeah. And that definitely has an impact on the relationship. And let's say that you've been in a relationship for several years. And in these years, whether it be 10, 20, or 30 years, you've grown to become accustomed to whatever the rhythm, the routine, the habitual patterns of behavior are in that relationship. And in doing so, you get comfortable. You get comfortable, your partner gets comfortable. And as a result, you sometimes get so comfortable with the way you're flowing that you really don't necessarily expose who you are, or you're not really willing to be vulnerable and share, what your deficits are. So your partner may know what your deficits are, but you're an entirely different person. So it's different when it comes from you. Excuse me. It's different when it comes from you sharing, this is what my limitations are, this is what my weaknesses are, and this is where, excuse me, I would like for you to help me. And so, in our relationship, we've experienced that. My wife, she sometimes says to me, like, I want you to romance me more. And I'm not going to say that that's necessarily a deficit of mine, but what I will say is that as the relationship has matured, I have recognized within myself that, I'm not necessarily as pressed as I used to be.
Because you used to be on and popping. I mean, I'm not trying to say you're not. Well, it's definitely different.
Yeah, it's different.
I used
It's different.
To get roses on the seat of my car. Remember that? That was a lot.
Why I gotta be a lot? So why I gotta be? I mean, I have been like giving you roses like every week, and
when?
I mean, it's been a minute since I've done that, but for a period of time,
you do. It's not like you just totally go dead on it. You do come back and here and there, but yeah. But I'm just saying, back in the day, he was writing poems and.
So, I mean, I was macking my woman. I was macking her, and I still mack you too, but not to the same degree. But I want to lift up that it's important that we identify what the limitations are. So, in our relationship, we got a lot of stress that's going on right now. With the baby, and of course, my wife, she got way more stress than me. But it definitely
you stress too, not this bad stress. Good
stress.
Yeah,
good stress and bad stress. But it definitely impacts how you flow. And like I said, our relationship has gone through several different seasons. And so if I'm not in tune with myself, and I really can't get in touch with where I currently am and how I may possibly be impacting a relationship, and I don't necessarily share what my limitations are with my wife, then she could be walking around just like resentful, because she doesn't know what's going on within me.
Can we share an example of that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm sharing an example of you.
How you gonna share an example of me?
It just came in my mind. Do you mind if I share like what you said about just how you're feeling in terms of the baby, the finances, and all of that kind of stuff?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know.
You don't know what I'm talking about. But basically, I mean, it's nothing super specific other than I think it was the other day, and you talked about you kind of checked back in with me and were like, hey, I apologize if I've been a little more disconnected. I just got different things going on in my head around, the coming of the baby, some moves that we're making and need to make, and the finances and that whole picture. And so I just been in my head about that, I strategized and kind of focused on that. And I had felt that you were disconnected, and I'm all in like la la land, like baby, and and like all happy, and I was wondering like what's going on with Boo Boo. So that was helpful to me, and that was not necessarily you communicating a limitation, but just there are some, you just
But it was
experience
a
this whole
limitation.
process differently, I guess.
It was a limitation because, me processing, me thinking and pontificating about, what the next move is going to be. I've been exerting energy towards that thought process, which has really, to some degree, impacted, the energy that I exert towards you and just, the yummy, warm, and connected feelings that we often feel and we still do feel, but just in terms of like, me reaching out and connecting and touching and stuff like that because I got these thoughts going on in my mind. It's just impacting my willingness to like just want to do all of that, because I'm stressing or I'm thinking about how we going to, handle certain things. So yeah, so that's an example right there, in terms of like me being intentional about identifying what my limitations are and then recognizing how they impact the relationship.
And I have a limitation that I just shared yesterday on the way home. Because I needed to get some groceries up here. Y'all ever be in the house and you be like, dang, when am I going to go to the grocery store? You start asking yourself, like, I need to get to the grocery store. What's going on, right? But I wasn't up in the house. I was on the way home. And my husband was like, my son had a basketball practice. And I was going to meet him there. He was trying, I think he's trying to gently suggest, like, can you take your ass to the grocery store? He's like, are you going to come and meet us? Or you want to, maybe you should go ahead and go to the grocery store? Or I was like, that's what you're trying to do? You're trying to get me to go to the grocery store? Well, let me just communicate this limitation. I ain't say it like that, but I did say I ain't cooking tonight. It's just not happening. I can't do it. I'm tired. So I know I got to get on it. And I gotta get this food up in here and keep the family straight with the food, but it's not happening tonight. Now that's a light one. But sometimes for people really get upset about stuff like that because they feel like there's a pattern of you're not doing what you're supposed to do or fulfilling your role, and that you're not really caring about me or the family or whatever because you're just focused on yourself and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. But again, the point is communicate where you are coming up short. And I just talked about I'm tired. I'm too tired. I just really need to be able to not do that tonight. So whether it's something like that or it's something just around how you're able to be with your partner, and they're looking for more, but you're not doing it, communicate, talk, let them know how you're feeling. If you can't do that with one another because you have not practiced that, then you're not getting closer. You're not building. You're not able to really model not only for your partner, but for your children and for those around you, what it means to be in relationship for real. Because when you don't do that, you're not being in relationship. That's just being with someone, but that's not being in relationship with the other person. So we hope that this has been of help to you. We hope that you use this today to perhaps communicate a limitation that you haven't communicated before. You've been doing something the same way for a long time and people expect you to do things a certain way. Hold this down, take care of this, particularly women. I'm going to hold it down for the women because y'all know sometimes we just putting out too much of ourselves, spreading ourselves way too thin, and people get familiar with that and comfortable with that. Our husbands, our children, everybody. And no one is going to put that barrier and that boundary in place if you don't do it. You can do it. You have a right to change. You have a right to have limitations and to take care of yourself. But you can't just let it build up and be resentful or just say, I ain't doing it no more. Talk. Let people know how you feel. That's what it means to be in relationship. So at the end of the day, you can't do any of these things if you don't
Stop playing
and start pushing.